saw it on the news today. A soldier has come home. Surprise a little family today. They're finally home and home. And they're standing by your side every time you call. Yes, they're standing by your side every time you call.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Slice. And as usual, we want to say hello to Clarence Mitchell with his Blog Talk Radio. Make sure you keep up on that. I've been missing a few lately, so I'm behind, but I'll be catching up here soon. And then you have, of course, Kimberly Wright with her X-Files chat. I'm sure she's going to be expanding that. I haven't noticed anything, but if she does, we'll certainly let you know. On the Facebook page, AA Theory. And what you do is you go to facebook.com/groups/AATHEORY, and you will have yourself a great time in there chatting with the folks in there. All kinds of subject matter from conspiracies on, and yeah, a lot of good stuff. So anyway, I was sitting here thinking, I have this, my sphere of influence is, started back in the 70s, of course, with Van Daniken and his work, and then it expanded out, Foster, and that Gilbert Russell guy was pretty good back in the day. But anyway, I was sitting here thinking about my little I don't know if you call it a preoccupation or not, with giants. And I know I've done a few shows on giant stuff. And I'm sitting here looking at this map right here. Okay. And I'm thinking, okay, giant remains have been found all across here. We got these step pyramid mounds in all through the Ohio Valley, all the way actually Midwest even. I mean, it just spreads everywhere. So I'm sitting here looking at that, and then I remembered something that I heard about this book. That's right, this one. And I started reading into this stuff, and suddenly I'm reading dimensions of things that match dimensions of earthworks that we've reported on. Imagine my horror to think that the answer to a lot of our questions may lie indeed in this book. We're quick to use the Bible for reference on other things, and believe it or not, there's references to UFOs and stuff in this, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. What I'm going to argue today is the possibility that these cities actually existed and these events did indeed happen. Now, the fun part of this is that there's two schools of thought. One puts these mythical places in the Mormon Bible in the USA. There's another model, however, which I happened to get lucky, and I downloaded a Google Earth model which shows everything the way that this school of thought represents. And I'll also show you the web page that you can read about the guy who made this model and what he uses as scientific facts and basis for what he came up with. So it's really cool. I was looking at that, and that puts us right in Peru, Brazil, all those ruins up there in the mountains that nobody knows what people built them. Well, that is explained supposedly in this book. Now, I haven't read far enough into this stuff to be able to sit here and tell you all this crazy stuff. I'm sure there's people out there that can, but I can't. But I would love to interview one of these people, because I have a hunch that a lot of these guys were in fact giants that they're talking about. I don't know where this information, all this information that is in this Mormon book, cannot have come from those tablets that Smith got. There's no way. I don't believe it. So anyway, I thought it'd be interesting if we looked at it from that angle. I mean, I'm not saying I believe it, at least not yet. I mean, and I'm putting the evidence together as I do this. So it's not like this is a pre-thought out theory and all this. I am of the school of thought that we evolved. Now, okay. Let me go back to, 80 million years ago. 80 million years ago, supposedly, somewhere between there, 50 million, 40 million years ago, there's evidence to suggest that the dinosaurs were dying off, the big ones, were dying off of a virus of some sort of bacterial attack. I remember a special on some channel about that, and the guy mentioned that there could have been a biological reason that they were dying off. Could have been something brought in from a meteor strike. I don't know. But let's just say that happened. Now, in the meantime, a reptilian race evolves with the regular dumb dinosaurs that is intelligent and has enough digits to perform work and get things done intelligently. Alright, so let's say that evolves. There's a reptilian race. They ended up being similar to us. Maybe even evolved the scales right off them. Who knows? Maybe they didn't have scales. Maybe they had leathery skin. That's up for debate. Maybe they developed space flight. I mean, they had millions and millions and millions of years to evolve into this state, whereas humans were supposed to have evolved in only, 1.4 million, 2 million years, something like that. Real quick compared to how much time they had. And I think that we'd be foolish not to take that into consideration. During that time period also, giants could have evolved. And also, spacecraft could have come and colonized certain areas of the what is now USA and South America. These were great cities that they talk about. But there's evidence in both South America, and of course that's all big stones. Now that is why a lot of the guys use the South American model as their guide for placing where these cities are, because they talk about in some of these the great blocks of stone. All right, and those were supposed to have been put in place by giants. According to what I've read, I got a lot more to go. This is as much as reading the regular Bible, really. So anyway, what I did is I did get a copy of the Google Earth model that someone went to great trouble to put together, and we're going to look at it and see what they're looking at, and then I'm going to show you the North American model, which they both kind of fit, but there's more discrepancies with the North American model than there are with the South American model. South American model has more pros than the North American. And that's the only reason I'm starting with that. So, let's yeah, let's go look at this Google Earth model. Okay, I've gone ahead and loaded up the Google Earth model. This file I came across. Anybody that wants it, let me know. I'll transfer it to you somehow or something. Okay, so here we have, and I haven't read enough of this to speak with authority on this. But there's a C north. This is all labeled just like it is in the. Now, also, the guy did note that some of this was water. It actually shows their boundaries going out into the water, actually. Okay. Alright, so they've identified with a lot of the same areas that we find our ruins in. They also talk of a great flood, the whole works. And I haven't read far enough to find out if they actually migrated after that, and they don't say they're like white men or anything. We have to get rid of that mindset of what they look like, because it doesn't really matter at this point. What would be interesting, we're looking at right through Nicaragua, and all those ruins that Bruce Fenton's finding and stuff may well be connected with us. The difference between this model here that I found, I mean, yes, the land of desolation, that should be, I wonder what, I got to read up and find out why they call it that. Land of Sidon, yeah, Ammonian, yeah, I remember reading about that somewhere, Jesus. But anyway, apparently a lot of their locations jive with ruins as well, complete with their distances. Now remember, this book was written before these places were even found. We're talking early American history, actually. And yeah, see, this guy did a lot of research. I'll show you his page here in a minute. This guy that put this map together and made it for Google. It's crazy. Somebody has done the same thing, but not with a Google map, with just a regular mapping. They've done the same thing, I'll show you that in a minute, with North America, and shown what they think all these places are. Land of the Bountiful East. Interesting. Huh. This book might be the source of some answers. I don't know. Yeah, if anybody wants to look at this any closer, look at this Land of Jerusalem. Huh. Incredible. See, I always look for something weird and just zoom up on it. See how that all crisscrosses? I kind of like that. As a prospector, that gets me going. Look at that. Oh, that's prime. What we got here? Look at that. You spin around, take a better look at that. I might have found something. Whoa, you guys. That looks like a big footprint. That'd be a huge motherfucker. That'd be a giant and a half right there. Alright, let's take a look at this low line. Let's see, we're at a height of what? Still at 5,000 feet. Look at the formation there. That does look interesting, doesn't it? That's on the side of them. Well, yeah, along the slope of a mountain. But we'd be able to see it better, but he's got that stupid filter on there for his color coding, yeah. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. So from San Salvador north to the south end of Mexico, excuse me, we have this wonderful setup. Now, remember some of these names. You don't have to remember them all. Yes, remember them all. No, Sea South in particular, Land of Bountiful West, Land of Qumran, Lesser Land of Zarahemia, the Land of Bountiful Center, Sea East. Boy, I love this area. This area, just looking at the cracks in the crust of the earth, it's like the Grand Canyon right here. Well, much deeper, but still very interesting. I contend, well, you know, you can see things in almost anything if you look hard enough. So, anyway, this is the promised Google Earth map. Let me put north to north again. You can see where it's situated. And I don't know how the guy came to his conclusions. I don't know the book well enough. I'm still learning, as I told you. But I've learned enough to know that this matches. But there's some things in North America, up in the United States, that fit even better than, I don't know, maybe they don't. I haven't examined all this area. And, you know, I can't get enough aerial photography of these sites to be able to tell you what shapes I'm looking for. You know, some of the descriptions in the book talk about certain shapes, and they form up real easy in the layouts of the earthworks and stuff in Ohio Valley and that whole area, Missouri, whatever you want to call it. I've been corrected before. Yeah, so this is great, and this guy claims that this matches the book exactly. Now, I haven't been able to read enough of the book to be able to say yes, no, maybe, whatever. All right. So anyway, this here is the guy's page. Now, and this is where he's talking about what's in the page. But if you go to his page and let me, that's the page right there. Book of Mormon Resources, Blogspot, blah, 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 and all that right there. Boom. That will get you to this page. And here he talks about what he did to make this map and what he used for information, all his resources. Yeah. Solving the geography puzzle is a complex, multi-variate problem requiring best fit analysis across several hundred data points. That was dauntingly difficult before the advent of user-friendly geographic information system software such as Google Earth. Blah, blah, blah. When I began to write this he started this in 2011. Wow. He went through the anthropology, paper maps, and on, like, yeah, so, wow. Interesting. Yeah, so anyway, the guy's done his homework. I mean, I'm not saying he's right because I myself, just in a limited amount of stuff that I've looked at, um, and compared to the book, has been amazingly. I'd like to have it be up in the U.S. so I can look for it, but I'm going to look for what's there anyway. And perhaps in the book there's mentions of other lands to the north, and maybe we can put names to the areas that relate. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So anyway, that's pretty much what I got for you on that. Again, this is the Google Earth model. If you want it, I got it. Or you can get it from that guy's webpage where I just showed you. You can go there and download it. It's a KDMZ file. I'd say make a folder on your desktop and save it into that and just call it Google Models or whatever. Lots of pictures in here. What do we got? I don't really care about that. Land of Desolation. Does that look desolate to you? Maybe it was then. Maybe the greenery was south. Or maybe a lot of people just died here. That could be it. Yeah, it looks pretty. Looks like things grow. Desolation, huh? I see mounds right there. Look out here, you guys, look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh, what secrets hide within those forests? Someday, you guys, it'll all come clear. Maybe not. Maybe it was meant to be lost. I don't know. Land of Bountiful East. Look at that. Bountiful East. You know why it was bountiful? Because they probably were the only traders. They probably had all the trading ports. It looks like the land extended quite a bit further. I'm not going to say it went all. Well, maybe. I think once the flood happened, it changed a lot of stuff, man. It changed. And not just from the water rising, from the washout of things, it would have decreased the land height. So imagine that, too. I mean, you could lose 300 feet just from washout if the water hit just right, and boiled it out. All right, well, anyway, that's enough. I'm going to go forward, and I'm going to show you the pictures of the other map models, but it's not going to be on Google Earth because nobody's done map models on this scenario yet. So let's go look at that. All right. It's late. It's past midnight. Okay. So here we have the description from the Mormon book on all these pictures came from their site or someone affiliated with them. Okay, so here we have them building, what was the city of Sidon? They have used these pictures to prove the setup of the cities described in their books. These are not in order. Okay, this here is what we call the areas that the second model is talking about. Now, this here is what we named the tribes or whatever cultures were in the area at the time before the current Native American influence. And of course, this is the map that shows the South American. See how many different models they have? There's another thing too. They talk about the land of Nephi disappearing after 34 AD. So this land here is something supposedly happened to it, and it just disappeared from their records after 34 AD, supposedly on that model. In this this here, this is good. These are all the different locations that they believe. Here's another model, yet a different whole model. It puts the lands of desolation that we saw down here last time. So, and Bountiful is there, and the funny part is it correlates with the settlements that were found in the different mounds. Okay, this is from the North American model. And of course, we're looking at St. Lawrence Seaway here. And this is what they call it in the book. Sidon would have been, what's that, Upper New York? In New York State. And they found a lot of ruins up that way. Earth mounds, mostly. Okay. Now, when the Mormons went west to Utah, they started here at Sugar Creek, or actually Nauvoo, whatever you want to call it, Illinois. Smith brings them all out here. Immigration Canyon, nice. Echo Canyon. These areas are all full of artifacts, and still are finding artifacts in that area. This dolmen was found in that same area. Look at that bad boy. This is in New Hampshire. America's Stonehenge. Okay, Ancient America, Michigan's Lower Peninsula, Upper Peninsula. Okay. Now this talking about how the early, up to the recession of the last ice age, which was 12,000 BC is where this ice was, right here. So over some of the Great Lakes, geez, 12,000 BC. That was a long time ago. 1,400 years ago. Okay, so yeah, things do change. Alright, now we're back to that other model again, what puts us in Central America. As you can see, this is quite a generalized map. And, you know, the only reason I bring this up, of course, is because of the unexplained ruins. World's most depressing job. I bet. Alright, so here's another rendition of that same South American map. It puts Nephi, what is this, Brazil? Okay, and here's the United States version again. And if you look at, this is what? This is, these are all the sites where they found evidence of other. The Mormons say they found evidence of their civilization that they are talking about in the books. There we go, back to the damn. I wish these would come up in order, but I don't know what happened. I had them in order. But anyway, we have the South American model once again. Another dolmen. That's also in upstate New York, I believe. Look at that capstone right there. That's a big boy. Big boy. Okay, so again, these are all the, this is another version. They put quite a bit of distance between. They're saying Florida hitting South America. What happened to Cuba? Yeah, it just disappeared. Mounds in America. Mounds in America. You'll find, this is a very interesting one. I feel this was protecting something. This is protecting something. Something's under that. Probably a spaceship. Who knows? Another one similar to that. What could it be? Everybody wants to put, I don't think all these sites, oh, that's a good one right there, huh? That one's not in the United States, so. That one is, though. That's in the New Hampshire. Okay, so this here shows the Mississippi River as being the river Sidon in this Mormon Bible. Land of desolation. It doesn't look desolate to me. Desolation would be out here, wouldn't it? I'm not sure why they call it the land of desolation, so I got to read up and find why they would call that. Maybe a big battle was fought and a lot of people died, or something along those lines. But yeah, it's here's another version of the same thing. As you can see, there's as many competing ideas on this. But the point being is that we're finding these ruins. Jim Vieira has documented a lot of this stuff. Is this true? I don't know, but it's why were they able to come up with this book in the first place? We didn't even know about a lot of these ruins when this book was written. And yet, there they are. All through the Ohio Valley. Look at it. Land Nephi, Bountiful, and they got cities named. Well, we should be able to find these. I mean, they found the ruins, but we didn't know what they were. Now that we have an idea of what happened, if that is accurate, if that book is accurate, all we have to do now is read it as if it was happening and see if we can't place where some of these battles raged that they talk about, and that way we can find the remnants of those battles. Remember, there's a crap load of copper missing out of Michigan, and they don't know where it went. So this might explain that. You know. Now, what this is, this here, Huntsville, Maryland, land of Manti. See, somebody's gone to the trouble of isolating this into this area. Heartland model. Okay, so this is a different model yet again. Zeph's Mound, they actually found it. Hey, isn't that cool? Land of Manti. Now, South Wilderness, they're not sure. The other wilderness, I'm not sure. Lamanite lands. Alright. So I read enough about Lamanites and where's the other one? The one they fought. I don't see. It's got to be north. Yeah. Well, anyway, of course, I need to do a lot more research on this, but alright, this here is interesting. The Nephites and the Lamanites, they're the ones, they were kind of fighting amongst themselves. But some of these guys were giants, and they talk about that. And what is this? AC? Okay. So look, they go back to 2200 BC. Look at that. And that's when what happened? Okay. They built the barges. Okay, so this is from their flood on. And then in just after 180, Christ shows up in America. And apparently, these civilizations were going full bore. Now, I can't wait to read and find out what happened to these great civilizations. You know, and this is a similar map. Again, there's so many takes on it, even within their own. Look at this, it forms a swastika. Jesus, why do you form a swastika? I haven't. Egyptian and Phoenician settled east coast of. See, now this goes into a little more detail. Check it out. Very interesting. More of that before 34 AD. Okay. Alright, so here's another Moroni's map. Look, he gives it a whole different than even that other guy did. So, a lot of people put a lot of these civilizations right where we're talking about the giants and the different earthworks, and like this picture shouldn't have been there. That picture. Well, you know, this is interesting. In the descriptions in their books, you see how they topped their pyramids? They're topped with wood. They're not topped with stone. Well, these are stone, but I'll show you another picture in a minute that they're topped with wooden structures on the top. And you know what? In many ways that makes a little sense, but they probably had meeting houses. I don't know if this is going to enlarge well. Not that well. But that's the Central American model. This is supposed to be, this is interesting. This is supposed to be a cliff face that means a lot to the Mormons, but if you look closely, you see this battle scene etched on the rock. I didn't even know that existed until the other day. Crazy. That's a good one. This one is the Stonehenge in New Hampshire. It's like a Stonehenge. It's set up like it. Another map. Another map. So yeah, I mean, these things, they go on and on. Check it out. All kinds of crazy stuff. Mormon Names in Maya Stone by Dr. Pate. There you go. And, you know, we're full of strangeness. So, folks, that's it for the pictures. Let's go. I'll have some closing remarks and we'll get on with it. So, I hope you folks can see why I believe that there may be a connection. I don't know. Like I said, I have to get into the book a lot deeper so I can tell what's going on with it. But yeah, anyway, I'd give you something else to think about, right? It could have a connection. I suggest everybody grab a copy of them if you're interested in finding out what these ruins are. It could be another clue towards the solving of that problem. Once you know a little bit about that history, if you do find an artifact, you could hopefully make a correlation between That and this. Now, another thing is some of these tablets that have been found may have a correlation as well. That's why some of that stuff is Byzantine, so that's pretty old. But anyway, folks, that's the show, and I hope I gave you something else to think about. Not like you don't have enough already, but take care, and I'll see you next time.
And they're standing by your side.